신명기 4장, Deuteronomy chapter 4. Hear now, O Israel, the decrees and the laws I am about to teach you. Follow them so that you may live and may go in and take possessions of the land that the Lord God of your fathers is giving you. Do not add to what I command you, and do not subtract from it, but keep the commands of the Lord your God said I give you. You saw with your own eyes what the Lord did about poor. The Lord your God destroyed from among you everyone who followed the Baals of Peor, but all of you who held fast to the Lord's your God are still alive today. See, I have taught you decrees and laws as the Lord my God commanded me, so that you may follow them in the land you are entering, take possession of it. Observe them carefully, for this will show your wisdom and understanding to the nations who will hear about all these decrees and say, surely this great nation is wise and understanding people. So what other nation is so great as I have their gods near them the ways the Lord our God is near us whenever we pray to him, and what other nation is so great as to have such a righteous decrees and laws as this body of laws I am setting before you today. Only be careful and watch yourselves closely so that you do not forget the things your eyes have seen, or let them slip from your heart as long as you live. Teach them your children and to their children after them. Remember the day you stood before the Lord your God at the Horeb, when he said to me, assemble the people before me to hear my words, so that they may learn to revere me as long as they live in the land. And may teach them in their children. You came near and stood at the foot of the mountains while it blazed with fire to the very heavens, and with the black clouds and deep darkness. Then the Lord spoke to you out of the fires. You heard the sound of the words, but saw no forms. There was only voice. He declared to you his covenant, the Ten Commandments which he commanded you to follow, and then wrote them on two stone tablets. Then the Lord directed me at times to teach you the decrees and the laws you have to follow in the lands that you are crossing the Jordan to possess. You saw no forms of any kind the days the Lord spoke to you at Horeb out of the fires. Therefore, watch yourselves every careful. So that you not become corrupt and make for yourselves either an image of any shape, whenever whether it's formed like a man or a woman, or like any animals on earth, or any birds that flies in the air, or like any creatures that moves along the ground, or any fish in the waters below. And when you look up to the sky and see the sun, the moon, and the stars, all the heavenly rays do not be enticed into a bowling, bowing down to them and worshiping things to the Lord. Your God has apportioned to all the nations and under the heaven. But as for you, the Lord took you and brought you out of the iron smelting furnace, out of Egypt, to be the peoples of his inheritance, as you now are. The Lord was angry with me because of you, and he solemnly swore that I would not cross the Jordan and enter the good lands, and the Lord your God is giving you as your inheritance. I will die in this land. I will not cross the Jordan, but you are about to cross over, take possessions at that great land. Be careful not to follow the covenant. Forget the covenant. Of the Lord your God that he made with you. Do not make for yourselves an idols in the form of any things the Lord your God has forbidden, for the Lord your God is consumed fire. Jealous God. After you have had children and grandchildren and have lived in the land in the long time, if you then becomes corrupt and make any kind of idols, doing evils in the eyes of the Lord your God and provoking him to anger, I call heaven and earth as witness against you. This day that you will quickly perish. From the land that you are crossing the Jordan to possess, you will not live long, but will certainly be destroyed. The Lord will scatter you among the peoples, and only a few of you will. There you will worship man-made gods of wood and stone, which cannot see, hear, or eat, or smell. but I have you will find him if you are looking for it. When you are impressed and all things have happened to you, then in later days you will return to the Lord your God and with to the Lord your God and obey Him. For the Lord. For the Lord your God is merciful God. He will not abandon or destroy you and forget. Lord, ask now about the former days long before your times, from the day God created man on the earth, ask from one end of the heavens to the other. Has anything so great as they ever happened, or anything? If this ever happened, or has anything so great as this ever happened, or anything like it ever been heard of? Has any other people's heard the voice of God speaking out of fire as you have lived? Has any God ever tried to take for himself one nation out of another nation by testing, by miraculous signs and wonders, by word, by mighty hand and the outstretched arms, by the great and the awesome deed, like all the things the Lord your God did for you in the Egypt before your ever eyes? You were shown these things so that you might know that the Lord is God. Beside him there is no others. From heaven he made you hear his voice to discipline you. On earth he showed you his great fire, and you heard his words from out of the fire. Because he loved your fathers and chose their descendants after them, he brought you out of the Egypt by the presence and his great strength to drive out before you nations greater and stronger than you are, and to bring you into their land, to give it to you for your inheritance as it is today. Acknowledge and take to heart this day that the Lord is God, is heaven above, and on the earth below there is no other. Keep his decrees and the commands which I giving you today, so that it may go well with you and your children after you, and that you may live long in the lands that the Lord your God gives you for all time. Then the Moses set aside the 3 cities east of Jordan, to which anyone who had killed a person to flee if he had unintentionally killed his neighbors without Melissa for afterthought. He could flee into one of these cities and save his life. The cities were these: Bezer in the desert plateau, for the Rabbanite, Ramoth, and the Gilead, for the Gidite, and the Kalon, and the Bashan, and for the Manasseh. This is the Lord Moses said before the Israelites. These are the stipulations, the decrees, and the laws Moses gave. Then when they came out of Egypt and were in the valleys near the Beth, the border east of the Jordan in the land of Sihon, king of Amorite, was reigned the Heshbon, and was defeated by Moses and the Israelites as they came out of Egypt. They took possessions of his land and the land of Og, king of Bashan. The two Amorite kings east of the Jordan. This land extended from Or on the rim of the Aaron's George of the mountain of Shidon. This is Hamon, and included all the Arabah east of the Jordans, as far as the sea of the Arabah below the slopes of the Pishah.